You're listening to Strong Asian Lead, your backstage pass to Hollywood. In this space, we shatter barriers, unlock opportunities, and provide you with the tools you need to break into Hollywood on your terms. My name is Mas Moria, and we're on day 4, I think something like that. If you're listening to the podcast, I really appreciate you, and I hope you hit subscribe so that we have the whole thing. I hate being that influencer dude, like subscribe, hit the smash button, do the like, all the stuff. Yeah, do it. I hope so, because that really helps us understand, and get better, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it does help. I do appreciate anybody who's listening. I don't get to always post these on Instagram and stuff because again, I don't have a team to do it. So, but we do want to keep doing this. It is 9 a.m., so I feel like I'm a little late on this, but I'm going to do my best to record today and get to the podcast. And I'm going to go back to the picket lines, try to see some friends and support what I can. But man, it's so hot out there. It's actually so hot today. Like, it's 9 a.m. It's so hot that I had to turn on the AC. And you know me, I just do not like the AC. It's loud. It's energy consuming, and it's loud. And that's all I got to say. Like, I my first couple months in New York, it was hot, but then it wasn't hot. It was hot, but I refused to buy an AC. It's just like $125, something like that. I just didn't want to get it. It was heavy and did all that, but I had to cave in. It got really sweltering hot, and yeah, it was hot out there. So I'm glad I got one. It was always loud. It's still annoying, but you know what? You can't live without one because I just can't do it. And I hope you shouldn't be able to hear it on the podcast because I'm going to do some editing for it, but it's what it is. I can't just not do it, and it's exhausting. So, but thank you for listening. Today's episode, we're going to talk about paying it forward and the unseen way to break into Hollywood. I really think it's a way to do that for ourselves, and I will show you some examples that I've done in the past and the ways I've worked it into life and why it's important. Because man, if you're helping other people do the thing that they want to do, and not just, you can do it for them or you can do it for nonprofits, like that's the way to build this business. Like that's the way the business was kind of built. And if you know anything about film schools and like doing short films, like that's the way that's built too. It's about community, and by paying it forward, that's the way it works. And I do that all the time, and that's the way the way of Hollywood. Like, you want to break in, you want to do the right thing, do something for do something for someone else, not just for yourself. I think that's the one reason why I left LA, is because everybody was just trying to do it for themselves but never paying it forward or giving it back. And that's all I was doing. And it's really annoying to not have to do that. I'm going to close my window so paying forward, and that's today's topic. So, but before we get into that today, I'm going to talk more about life, just more casual things. And today we're going to talk about kind of a follow-up segment from what I did last week. And it's going to be doing the things when you don't want to do things. So it's kind of like saying yes to the things you want to do, like yes to the things you don't want to do, and then no to the things you do want to do. Kind of backwards, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because sometimes you don't want to do something, but you know it's the right thing to do. Or you want to do something and you don't have the energy to do it and you have to say no. And that's hard. That's hard to do. And I'll bring you some examples. Like even last night, I went to this kind of potluck kind of thing, and a woman asked me to go, and I really wanted to go see her. I just met this woman, and keep it. And I was so tired. I was so tired from yesterday. I went to the picket lines, I did the podcast recording. Like, I'm doing that every day now, and so it's just exhausting to bring it back in and then edit it and do all the things. But I thought, and I had planned on this, potluck not date thing for, since she told me, it was like literally like the week before. And I just met her. We hadn't texted. I don't like texting. And I didn't tell her I wasn't going. I didn't follow up. I didn't say I was coming. I just, she's going to show up. And, as I was making my potluck rice balls, and yeah, I was just tired. I was so tired. I literally smashed my face in my bed. I was just like, I don't want to go. I don't, but I do. So I like forced myself to, I don't want to say forced, but I got myself to like get dressed. I didn't do my hair. I feel like I don't do my hair anymore because it's just like unruly. I do need to get a haircut. And I would love to get some of this new, like, I always seen like gel things. But I found this like powder styling thing. I was like, what is that? And it looked like really easy and useful. So I'm going to try that sometime. But I just didn't want to go. And I drove, and I hate driving. I hate driving so much. That's why I left. Another reason why I left LA is just like, I don't want to drive. And New York's just so much easier. I just love the subway. I don't care if I have to carry everything. I don't care if I have to boot other people. I don't care if it's dirty. I don't have to drive. I almost got in a car accident yesterday because someone's like crossing the lane and going off. I was just like, I hate this. And I'm like speeding because I'm tired and I'm annoyed. My chest was hurting. Like, it's just annoying. I don't like doing all of that stuff. So it was, but I went anyways. And even when I got there, I was like, hey, what's up? Hey, you're gorgeous. I'm tired. I'm tired. I told her, but I also told her, like, I think that's also important. If you don't want to go somewhere, you do go anyways. Like, just tell them your energy level. It's like, it's been a long day. I'm really tired. I would love a drink. Like, yeah, thank you. Okay. And and then eventually, like, my mood kind of mellowed out, and I had to, talk to people and stuff. And I'm not an extroverted person. People think I'm an extroverted person. I'm really not. I'm pretty ambivert, if you have to say, but I just do it anyways. I just do it because I think it's important. It's kind of like a life skill that I had to like learn, but it's not my internal thing. I'd rather stay home and read a book and do work, be a workaholic, and just never see anybody. But that's not how life works. That's not how Hollywood works, and that's not how. I don't think it's really good for anybody to just shut themselves out of the world. So, yeah, I did it anyways, and I'm glad I did. I got to just see her and meet some people, and it was nice. And not to talk to people, but it's kind of good to see her. I don't think she's listening to this podcast, so I don't care. But whatever. But there's also things that I do want to go to, and I just say no. So there was another party someone's birthday party that I was going to go to, and it's just down the street. It's at Intercrew, and I just was so tired. I was so burned out. And if I went, not only do I have to fucking dress up, like, I hate like really dressing up unless it's like really dope. I like hate how like putting on a suit and do my hair and doing the makeup and all that. And it was just I just didn't want to go. I messaged her. I was like, I just don't have the energy to do it. I don't have the energy to yell at people and try to network or whatever and do all that. And she was fine with it, but I just don't want to do that. I really just don't. And I didn't. I slept. I slept instead. And that was much better. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I didn't go. And that's totally fine. But there's also moments where I don't want to do things and I say yes anyways. I was somewhere like, I feel like yesterday. Where was I? I didn't want to go to this meeting, and I was my anxiety was up. I was tired. I had other work to do, or at least I thought I had other work to do. I always have like a billion things to do. And I met this new friend. He's always trying to get me in touch with new people, and they're usually good quality of people. And it was really, I didn't want to go, but I went anyways. And I met the guy, nice guy. He's got his own production studio and stuff, and it'd be nice to keep in touch, but I hope to keep in touch. I feel like everybody I meet for the one time, and I just never hear from again, for various reasons. And I just, I'm not only am I bad at following up, but like, I just don't hear from people. And like, what did I waste that time for? I'm just like meeting people. It's like networking. We're like, okay, you met them, but does that do, And I think I hate like networking. I love meeting people and really taking some time and stuff. But I rushed it. He only had like 15 minutes. They planned it to come to me at like 9:40 or something like that. And then he like had a meeting at 10. I'm like, I have 20 minutes to give you my whole pitch and have a good time. Like, yeah, and then like rushed me out. Like, not in a bad way. He really had to go, but like, I mean, really, that's not what I'm there for 20 minutes. I drove 20 minutes for a 20-minute meeting and meet you. And what's that going to really turn into? I was like, I don't want to fucking be here. Like, that's dumb. But I did it anyways. And it's whatever. So I did it anyways. And it was great. It wasn't great. I just did it anyways. And I'm glad I did it because I don't know if I'm going to see that guy again. My friend was there to be there, and how it's so hard to get people in their room to do things, but I did it anyways. And there are other times I just do it anyways because I know it's either good for the community or it's good for my life. Like, I show up to those picket lines. I don't want to go to those picket lines. I don't want to be there. No one wants to be at the picket lines. Like, we want to be working. We want to be creating. We'd rather use that time at the picket lines to go write our screenplays, to go do auditions, to do all the Hollywood things that we want to do and the creative things that fuel our emotions and prove our parents wrong that we can do it. And you don't want to be there. But every time I show up, I do enjoy myself. I do enjoy myself. And something would happen. I think that's the whole deal. That's the whole deal, that you have, you help them out and show up. You just show up, and I'm tired. I'm sure they're tired. I'm hot. It's going to be a really hot day to do it. So please show up when you can. But that's the best way to kind of go, I think. Sometimes you have to make those hard decisions to do the opposite of what you want to do or don't want to do. And yeah, it's not one size fits all. It's not the whole thing. It's not, don't listen to me for one thing and then not hear. You're going to hear from me and say, like, yeah, but also do the opposite. It's like, life is complex. Life is very complex. That's what life is. And, and yeah, just do what feels right for you. It really is that whole, if it's not a yes, it's not a fuck yes, and I think that's really important. And sometimes I'm just like, nah, it's a yes, but I don't know. So I just don't, whatever, like, or not a yes, but I'm going to do it anyways because it's good for the soul or whatever. I go help out cleaning little Tokyo, and it's kind of like, it's not fuck yes, but I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I do that. It's every little Tokyo Sparkle. It's every May. They come out and you have some, cheesy food or whatever, and do a raffle, but you just go clean up. I usually do the graffiti duty. Like, I will get my elbows into it and just like go clean up. I also did the Koreatown youth cleanup or something like that. And I didn't want to do it. It was hot, but I was just walking around and not going for a run, just walking around. And I did it anyways. And I met a guy. He was cool. His name's Dan. He owns Olivia on Vermont. It's a vegetarian restaurant, like pizza and stuff, and pretty cool. I'm gonna check it out. He's been also helping out with the strikes, just giving out free lemonade. Like, fantastic. So good for Dan. But I also just cleaned up my streets. I think that's good. Do I want to do that? No, but I did it anyways, and that's the whole deal. But so not fuck yes. I'm gonna do a quick ad break. Okay, today we're going to talk about paying it forward. It's kind of the same deal that I was just, talking about before, because, when you want to do something or you don't want to do something and you do it anyway, it's still paying it forward. But there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. So the importance of paying it forward, and it's the paying it forward is, I'm calling it like the unseen way to break into Hollywood, because, when you focus on giving something to somebody else, that does something. It shows you that you're going to show up for somebody else besides yourself. And when you do it for somebody and you help them, it's not a tit for tat. Don't expect that they're going to help you back. Do it because you want to, because you feel the right to, because you feel good about doing it. You believe in the project, you believe in the person, however that is, and just do it. Once it's done, it's done. Move on. If they come back, great. If they don't come back, great too. Just keep moving on. But the point of doing it is because maybe they do come back. Maybe they put you in touch with somebody. Maybe they hire you for some other gig. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe 5 years from now. You don't know. You don't know. Do it anyways. Do it anyways. Do it with the people who you like doing it with. That's the bigger thing. Or that there's a mission for you to do it correctly. Because if you just do it and you don't like the guy, you're going to hate it. You're going to do a shitty job. And like volunteer work, right? Just volunteer and do the work right. I have so many people who are working in different industries who are volunteering in places and they do a shitty ass job. I'm like, they're not going to hire you. If you volunteer for me, you do a shitty job, I'm not going to hire you again. And I'm not going to refer you to somebody else for a paid job. You did a shitty job. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it either. So like, do the work correctly. That's the whole point of doing it. So do it. Do it right. Show them you can prove yourself to do it. Check your work. I mean, side note for checking your work, like I'm wearing my All American Girl t-shirt by Margaret Cho. Like we made if you don't know, we make our own t-shirts. Like every shirt that you see on that I'm wearing, like almost every time I'm like wearing our t-shirts, because not only is it's good marketing, but that's all the shirts I have. I don't really have any of the shirts because they don't afford, but I can wear my own shirts. And it actually doesn't have an R in American. And so at one point, and I was like, oh no, I have like this, someone told me there's this word, like when you don't, not that you don't check your spelling, but like you read the word and you just like pass it on. You just like, oh yeah, it's spelled correctly because you just read it. Yeah, I've got this thing. I can't do it. And so, I do that a lot. There's another shirt I have. I'm like, oh, I didn't check that. That's wrong information. So, do it right. Do it right. Always, and do it right and go above and beyond. This, couple weekends ago, I helped PK Comedy do photography for his stand-up show. And did I want to do it? Yeah. Because collaborations, I've never been to collaboration, but they're 25 years old. That's amazing. And they've been doing so much for the community. I was happy to show up for him. I don't know PK. I don't know PK personally. Talking a couple times on Clubhouse or something. I've just been around, but I just wanted to do it. I did ask, like, is there a budget? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, great. There's no budget. That's fine. He said I'll pay for my stuff. I haven't turned in my fucking invoice or my receipts to have that. I don't really care. It's like $35. I don't, whatever, man. You're doing so much for the community. I can just show up and do it. And that's paying it forward. Not only paying it forward, but doing something you feel right about, right? I enjoyed it. It was easy for you to do. And when he saw my work, one, the photos were great. Two, he saw how professional I was. I worked really hard. Everybody in the room saw how much I worked very hard. And when he saw all the photos and how it was organized, you're like, whoa, you're a pro. And I stayed all night. I stayed into the room when we were all just chilling out and hanging out until 3 a.m. And that was like, and I just did the after party. And he saw the after, like, whoa, you're still here. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm here for. And when I hear that, like, you're still here, I'm like, so in 25 years of in the collaboration, your photographers have never stayed. That's what I hear. I hear your photographers dipped out. When you literally told me, take pictures in the after party, I stayed. That's what he told me to do. If he told me not to do, I wouldn't do that. But like, he told me to stay, and I did. Come on. Not only is that goodwill and faith, that's the whole point of like working really hard and showing you can do the work. I stayed to the end because your party is not over. Your thing's not over just because the show's ending. You're still doing other things until you go home or you tell me to turn the camera off. That's it. I've made that mistake before, but not turning off the camera. But don't do that. But that's the same thing. Just work really hard, pay it forward, and that's the way. Like break in. Like if you ever know like film schools or or short films. You go there, you do the work, you do really hard. They remember that. Sometimes everybody remembers it. Sometimes they might not do anything about it, but they always remember. And shout out to all my UCR friends who never hired me again. Fine. I worked really hard. I worked my ass off. I learned a lot. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they hired me a lot. I learned a lot. Still did it. I never hear from them again. I will probably say it's because they're white. They don't think of me or whatever. However, they know I worked really hard. They hire me here and there, but then I don't know. I don't know, man. Like sometimes I just one and gun. Like I'm a complete professional. But I seriously will get remembered and referred by a lot of other Asians than I do white people. That's just real. That's just real. Even my black friends. Sometimes. It's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, do something for your community. Community shows up for you. It's just that, yeah, it's how white people work. They do their nepotism and they show up for their people. They just do it. They don't have to think about it, but they don't also think about how to include more or who needs to work or who to refer more to. If everyone asks me things, I try to refer them to a friend who I know can do the work, who can show up on time, who've always done that. I had this buddy named Milton and in New York, and he is the hardest working PA and gaffer and cinematographer I've ever seen. Like, on the spot, I would hire him every day. Like, he just shows up on time, professional, ready to go, always had great ideas. I always listened to his suggestions, always worked out. That's so important. That's so, so important. Milton Guan, I never say last name, so sorry. But Milton, you're a G. You're a G, man. You know how to do it. And always happy to refer you to anybody all the time. When we're looking for stuff, dude, you work really hard. I do miss your Instagram stuff. It was always very beautiful. And so do it, man. And that's the way to break in. It's kind of like screenwriting. It's kind of like just making your short films, right? Thinking about your short films, your screenwriting, your acting, all that stuff. You do it for the practice. I've been teaching freelancing for 5 years, something like that. And I learned from this other guy named Josh Rossi. I think that's his name. Oh, God. He was the full-time freelance photographer.com. I will always plug that guy because I learned so much from him and learning how to market yourself and how to pay it forward, how to do that thing. And he was right. He was completely right, because that's why I built Rogue Photo. If nobody knows who I was before Strong Asian Lead, I ran a nonprofit called Rogue Photo. It wasn't a full 501c3. It didn't last very long because I went back, wanted to do back into filmmaking. But it was a nonprofit for photographers to help other nonprofits get photographers for their action events. So instead of paying Getty $500 per photo, you'd pay a young photographer $200 for 50 photos that are fine. Let them do it for your marketing material, your pamphlets, your all the stuff. Show that you did it. Prove that you did it. You don't have the proof. It's not no pics, no, it didn't proof. All that stuff. And it was great. I'd find people work. I'd get work. I'd find stuff. It worked out. I worked for other nonprofits. But the way I got into doing that is because I went to the protest after the 2016 election, and I would give the photos to the organizers. The next day. I'd give them the photos. Not ask for anything. Just here. You don't need to tag me. I don't care about tagging. I really don't. And you shouldn't either. Don't worry about tagging. I've never gotten hired because someone tagged me in a photo. Recognize that. I'm going to say that again. I've never been hired by somebody who tagged me, who found me through a tag on a photo. I don't care. I don't care if you don't tag me. I care that I served you. Because if I served you well, without any strings attached, you're more likely to hire me again or to refer me to somebody else. That's just how it goes, man. I actually got an email this week for someone to do for photography, and they were paying really well, paying well enough, and more than most people are offering at all. Like literally, they were like, that's actually my rate. That's close enough to my rate to be real and to get me back into the game. And they said it referred me from a friend who I helped out last year, just cleaning up, not photography, cleaning up. Again, paying it forward. Stay late and clean up. He got a text right now from that girl who went on the potluck. So I stayed and cleaned up. That's it. Shows a lot of initiative. You're just gonna do the work without being asked to do it. Like, that's a lot. That's paying it forward. And getting back to short films, like, you make short films for free, or you make short films on your own budget, and that's kind of like paying it forward. It's paying forward to your own career. It's practice. And going back, I'm all over the place, maybe with coffee or it's early morning, but the reason why I brought up Josh Rossi, because he had these like this rule of like the 4 P's. I kind of added a 5th P, but it's payment, practice, passion. That was his 3. I'm sorry. He had 3. I added purpose and pleasure, right? So if you can get 2 of those, you're good. You can get 3 or more, you're golden, right? Think about it this way. And this is the whole reason why to pay it forward. It's not about getting something later. It's actually getting something now, but you're doing it for yourself. So it's kind of a purposeful of doing it, paying it forward, not selfishly, because you're doing it for somebody else and you want to do it for that person. Don't do it for someone you don't want to do it for. Do it for someone you do want to do it for. There's a whole reason for that too. But if you are getting paid for something that you don't want to do, you better put your payment up. If you're getting paid to do something and you need the practice, that's good. That's pretty good. Maybe you don't like doing it. Like, I don't like doing weddings. I kind of refuse to do weddings. So I'm getting paid for something I can get practice for. Great. As a photographer, as a professional photographer, I don't need that practice anymore. So I need to get paid because I don't need the practice, and I don't actually it's not actually purpose. I don't need the purpose for it. I think that was the other thing. Josh Ross's was payment, practice, and pleasure, right? I added purpose and I'm just forgetting all the P's now. You feel it when you feel it. And it's the whole point is that if you do the thing because you like doing it, you don't always need the payment. And if you do the thing because you enjoy doing it and you get practice out of it, you don't need the payment. Now, if you get the payment, that's great. That's amazing, right? That's the whole point. If you have a purpose, that's even better, because there's a purpose for what you're doing, and it can go beyond all those things. For Rogue Photo, I started out as a photographer. I wasn't getting paid, but I was getting practice about getting better at my photography and delivering on time and working with clients and emailing clients and outreach and sharing and getting there on time. I was getting a lot of practice and getting better at my photography in general and editing. And then I was enjoying what I was doing. I wasn't doing videography, which I don't really enjoy. I wasn't doing marketing, which I don't really enjoy. I wasn't doing anything else. Photography, enjoyable, easy. I love doing it. It's not the career I want to do for the rest of my life, but I enjoy doing it. I have the knack for doing it. It's something I've done for a long enough time. I'm just like, yeah, let me be a photographer. Sure. Great. Easy. And it's very easy for me to do it, which is now why I make you pay more, because I don't need to practice. And just because I enjoy doing it doesn't mean I need to do it. So I don't need for this for be my career, so I don't care enough to be the thing I'm always shilling out. Like, hire me as a photographer. I'm like, you can hire me. You want a photographer? Sure, I'll do it. Right? I'll tell you which ones I don't want to do. Right? I love doing event photography. I love doing concert photography. I love doing those are the two, like behind the scenes or like day of or street photography. I used to love street photography. Favorite thing. It's how I learn photography. Fastest way to learn photography is street photography. And then, but I don't like doing headshots. I don't like doing weddings. I don't like doing whatever. So that's why you got to pay me more for doing those. I'm also not getting practice. But again, purpose for Rogue Photo. I found the purpose for doing them because I was helping others do what I believed in. Helping other nonprofits. Because I can't always like help fix racism with a photo. But I can give other nonprofits my skills and abilities to support them. I can't always donate my money to them because not only do I not know where it goes, it's just like money going to them. I can give them photography, which is something can be sometimes indispensable and used in perpetuity. Use it. Again, you don't have to tag me, just use it. Use the thing for what it was. And half the time they would pay me to do it. Buy my lunches, give me $200. It's a low ass day rate. That's a low ass day rate. But I got to travel. I got to see a lot of the East Coast. Got to DC. I got to be in Albany. I got to be in the lobbies of Capitol Hill in New York, and I got to go to West Virginia. Like, hey, I got paid to travel. That's cool, And I was doing it for somebody else that was purposeful. That's the whole thing, man. And if you're enjoying it, it's pleasure. And by paying it forward, I got to connect with more people. That's the whole point. And because I was doing it for a purpose, I got to connect with even bigger nonprofits. One of the reasons why I got into like this other organization called Harness is America Ferrera's nonprofits, because they saw one of the work that I was doing. Maybe somebody referred me to do that. But yeah. And then, you know what? It was still pretty low day rate. It was only like $500 a day, but I still got to go to the Catskills. I got to get some food. I met some celebrity type people. They don't remember me ever. Like, fine, whatever. But you know what? The person who did hire me said I did an amazing job. Best job. It would hire me in a day. I met her. I recently saw her again. And she was like, I wish you were doing photography again because you're the best. I was like, well, guess what? I am. She's like, really? Great. I'll hire you anytime. Like, fantastic, right? So that was the whole point. And I want to show you, like, in Hollywood, it's the same thing. And I'll show you, here's the example of Strong Agent Lead. One of the reasons why I'm doing Strong Agent Lead is not because I need the practice. I do need practice, like, professionalism. But when I have, like, and sorry, like, popping in, because you can see, oh my God, there's getting a lot of messages right now. So I'm going to, where is it? I hate when you can't call when you're looking for others. And so, one of the reasons why I do Strong Agent Lead, not because I think it's important. It's a purpose. There's a purpose for me to do this. Like, I'm helping others. This is much needed. We do not have a film school. We as a community do not have a way to break into Hollywood without just waiting for somebody else to tell us yes. Like, are you the filmmakers and screenwriters who are waiting for the 3 nonprofits to help you? Waiting to get into your film festivals? You waiting to get into the film festivals to hopefully win? To hopefully meet a manager? To hopefully have them say yes? Or do you want to skip all that, make sure that you just find the manager and make them say yes? Sounds easier, right? Sounds like a better way. You're going to wait for somebody else to say yes to then hope that that next person says yes? Or are you going to make that first person say yes? Like, I've never really been in film festivals. All my old films don't even relate to me anymore. And we won maybe a couple things, but like, you don't remember them. I do not say, I'm so sorry. I do not say I'm an award-winning filmmaker. I am, but I don't say it. Why? What's the point? What's the point of telling me I'm an award-winning filmmaker? You want to hire me, you're going to know why you're going to hire me. Not because I won an award, because I'm good to work with, because I do the work correctly, right? And I can show you and prove to you. I can talk to you and have a drink with you. That's the reason, right? So don't do it that way. Find another way. But by paying it forward for strong Asian lead, I think that's the purpose for me. But you know what? I also get a lot of pleasure out of doing it. I don't get payment out of doing it, but that's not the point. It's like the one P I don't get, right? And I get pleasure out of doing it because I enjoy doing strong Asian lead. As much as it's a lot of work, it's a hell of a lot of work. I love talking about it every day. I love telling people about what I do every day. I love showing I can prove to people that there's something important about what we're doing. And I'm growing. We're growing fast. We're getting partnerships. We're getting people. I have no money. I don't know how to get grants. I wish I could. I wish I had time. I don't. I just don't have time. I know there's grants out there. Everybody's like, get a grant. I'm like, yeah, you think I'm just gonna like put my hand down and like get a grant? Like, love that. Would love that. I don't have time to put out my hand. That's the problem. I have other hands to do other things. If I don't do the other things, can't prove what I'm doing there, it's a problem. So, at some point, I think in the next few episodes or so, I'm going to stop doing the podcast to take a break to do it. Like, that's why I'm amplifying these episodes right now, so I can kind of have a break in between. And so, but I'm still doing it. I'm still going to do it. And in some way, and clear, like, I'll tell you people, like, I'm not doing strong Asian lead for me, but it is helping me, right, in my career. A lot of people know what I'm doing. A lot of people know what strong Asian lead is. Even if they don't know me, they know what strong Asian lead is. They're like, wow, that's really cool. And my screenwriting career has nothing to do with it. But you know what? When we start to go pitching, and people who do know what we're doing, like, and you do that? Interesting. Like, I have ideas for documentaries, and I have ideas for narratives, like really work that could really be helpful and useful. I have a lot of backlog history that I could really pull from. And strong Asian lead proves to them I can do that. And I get to invite people to screenings, to panels, to be on a panel. I get to meet people. Sometimes I've had people on the podcast. Like, that's been great. They don't do very often because it's a lot of work to do that kind of stuff. But that's the whole point. That is the whole point. Paying it forward does help my career. And I want to tell you that you should be doing and paying it forward to somebody else, to other organizations. If you don't help us, help somebody else. I don't care if you help even in Hollywood. Help somebody do something else. Go to your nearest charity. Go to the Boys and Girls Club. Go to Salvation. I don't care. And like, just take pictures, take video, and say, I'm helping out these people and doing the thing. It sounds a little stupid and selfish and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? It shows you're not just about yourself. I have a lot of people that I know that are just about themselves. You do not help other people. And like, cool. You're working hard. Maybe you have 20,000 more followers than I do. But you're not helping anybody else but yourself. It's kind of vague, right? And so, but other people who have fewer followers than myself, who are helping other people, I'm like, you're my hero because you're helping other people. You're paying it forward to the community. That's the point. Go help other people. Pay it forward to somebody else. You pay it forward, it comes back. It does come back every time. Okay, we're back for the rest of this episode and doing our movie of the week. I do not have sound effects yet, so what you get. And I'm not like not Mel Blanc, but I forgot who the guy who does. Is it Winslow? Michael Winslow does that. No, I'm not a sound artist. But this movie of the week is Jungle Book 1942. And if you're watching on the Spotify, I don't think we have a YouTube yet, but we'll have something at some point. Here is the cover. I do have a VHS tape and a Blu-ray version. It was really hard to find the Blu-ray version because they never made it into Blu-ray in the United States. I got this one from Spain. So, fascinating. Just a beautiful film. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. We're going to get into some of the goods and bads about it, but overall, just like fucking gorgeous. Forget about the context. Like, gorgeous because it's early Technicolor. It's 1942. It's the forest. It's the beautifulest, greenest, most colorful thing you've seen, especially on like film. And just so gorgeous. And you can see it in like Blu-ray, 1080p or something. It's just wonderful and worth watching. Just worth watching because it's there. We'll play a clip right now.
What are you doing?
Oh, you're like a little panther. I thought someone had found the hiding place.
Hiding place? What is this?
Money?
What is it for?
What is money for? To protect us from hunger and cold.
It lives in a hole like a cobra?
No. If we need a bag of rice, I give these to the merchant in the square. He gives us the rice.
What a fool that merchant must be.
No.
Will the men pack give us anything for this?
Yes?
Will you give me a tooth?
Tooth? You have all your teeth?
No, a sharp tooth.
Oh, a knife?
Yes, a knife tooth, like a tiger's knife.
What need have you for a knife?
To sink it in the throat of my enemy.
Your enemy? Huh. You talk about Akela, the father wolf, and Raksha, the mother wolf, and how much better it is in the jungle with all your friends. Now, who could be your enemy?
Shere Khan, the tiger.
Tell Buldeo to sell you a knife. Give him the money.
I shall have a tooth! I shall have a tooth!
And if you're watching, that was just gorgeous. So let's get into the little dynamics of everything and where it's at. Again, it was released in 1942. This is not this is not your mother's Jungle Book, right? This is not the musical Disney version of, Mowgli and the Singing Bears and all that stuff. Like right now on the strikes, fuck Disney. This is not that, right? This is Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book, right? The book in itself is a public domain book from 1894. So it's way past that time, and anybody can make this movie. Anybody can make that story. Disney has just Disney-fied it for, children's purposes, and totally get that. Fine. There's actually been a lot of various versions of this movie, and so we're going to talk about like one of the original book adaptations from it, and with Sabu Dastagir, and I'm probably saying his name wrong, but we're going to talk about him and some of his work. There's also been another version in 1994 or 1982 with Jason Scott Lee, which he's from Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. So fascinating. I just saw a clip and I was like, where can I find this? That was a Disney version, but it was earlier 90s and stuff like that. So it was live action. So that's another fascinating I want to get into at some point because I just want to see him play the role as an East Asian playing it. But I feel like this is like the closest thing you're gonna get to like what it probably should be, or is like an Indian boy trying to do this. And Sabu in himself, as far as I'm aware and I've been learning, do not knock over my fucking camera. Sabu was the first Indian American actor, from whatever I can read in these things, but he's the first Indian American actor, and he was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960. Like, whoa, look at this guy. He's already there. What a man. And his years of service was from it says years. Oh, he must have been in the war. I'm learning a lot of this stuff with you. I can't just do all the things right beforehand. I'm kind of just learning as we go. But he had a military career in the United States Army Air Force. It was from 1944 to 1945. And he was in the crewman as a unit as the 370th Bombardment Squadron in World War II. So fascinating. He was 13. Sabu was discovered by documentary filmmaker Robert Flattery, who cast him in the role as an elephant driver in 1937's British film Elephant Boy. So his early films, I also have that. We can go into it later. Old black and white film. But, wonderful. It's an adaptation of Tumais of the Elephants, and which was also Rudyard Kipling's story. So in 1938, producer Alexander Korda commissioned A.E.W. Mason to write The Drum as a starring vehicle with a young actor for Sabru, which is also another film. And Sabru was probably best known for his role as Abu in 1940s fantasy adventure The Thief of Baghdad. So he'd done a lot of films before this, and a lot of them were black and white, and various things. But really, his big role that I can see was Jungle Book, and it was shot entirely in California. And so, man, I would love to just go way farther into this, and some I'm sure it's a full episode of things. Each one of these movies, by the way, we could do a full episode on, but I don't want to do that to you. I would love to do that, but I feel like that's just kind of not a boring thing, but just something that, one, I don't have time for researching everything for it and being perfect about it. I'd like to talk to some more people who know more about it, but at the same time, I just don't have time. So I'm going to do my basic knowledge and my basic fascination with these films. And so this is not a scholarly podcast. This is more of a casual podcast that I can just kind of bring up Wikipedia and IMDb and just talk to you about it. But so here, the great thing that Sabru was just an amazing actor for this. I think he was just an amazing actor in general. He played these roles, but here's the kind of the problem. He played a lot of roles that white people put him in kind of like this strange boy, the exotic boy, right? Like, you know the roles, right? He's exotic, he's different, he's the jungle boy. And that's the only problems with these films. Well, not the only one. Let's talk about Jungle Book more specifically. There was so much brown face. Almost every one of the characters were brown face. And actually, I didn't realize it at first. And I was just like, oh, this is a great movie. Except when I was looking further, my friends were talking about it. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of everybody's brown face. Even his little girlfriend. This little girlfriend who played this role was also really hard to find because she's not on IMDb because she only ever had one. Oh, she is. But her name was Patricia O'Rourke. She played Mahala. She kind of looked Indian to me. I was just like, oh yeah, that does have the look. And I was like, yeah. I actually put it in my trailer for Legacy Schemes. I thought it was a thing, but I didn't do our research. So, my bad. I have to fix that clip now. But she only had this one role. She's a white woman. No. And who else was there? So Joseph Kalia, John Quaylen, Frank Pajulia, Rosemary DeCamp, Ralph Bird, John Mather, Faith Brooke, Noble Johnson. None of these people are Indian. None of these people are even South Asian. Not as far as I know. Oh my God. There are more animals in this credit, live real animals, than there are Indian people in here. That's really sad. And that's the credits. Bagheera is literally the name of the cast, Bagheera, is played by the Panther. Baloo, the bear. So weird. So why even list the animals? I guess they were a thing, but so fascinating. Mel Blanc, which I thought was crazy. Mel Blanc played Kaa. If you don't know Mel Blanc, he's the voice actor of a billion voices, like Bugs Bunny and Roger Rabbit. I think it was Roger Rabbit. No, Daffy Duck. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not a perfect person. But every one of the Indian, South Asian people who were here were actually just named as villagers. And even this white woman, Martha Wentworth, White Hood, but Bhagwan Singh and Rama Bai were just villagers. So weird. So fascinating. And so, I'm not perfect. I'm not even South Asian, so I'm not going to get this all right in the first place. But the brown face was pretty bad in this, and I really hope that I don't know, but I really hope we've gotten past that. There's a lot of brown face anymore, but God damn, this was most brown face I've ever seen in a movie. And I was really mad at myself. Not really mad, but I was disappointed in myself that I didn't really catch it earlier. But again, I'm here for Sabru. I'm not here for these people. I'm here for Sabru. I'm here for this. I'm here for cinematic Technicolor. Yeah, it's 1942. Technicolor came out in 1938 with Wizard of Oz. I think that's correct. Let me double check on that. Wizard of Oz. But actually not even that correct, because first Technicolor film was 1922 with Anime Wong. Again, that's another movie we'll get into, but that was the first Technicolor film, and if that's not cinema history, I don't know what is, because that's not just Asian American history, that's cinema history. And Anime Wong and a bunch of other Asians were that film. And it was Asian American. It wasn't an Asian. It was actually a white guy. They actually talked about, I can't marry this white guy kind of guy. I was like, whoa, this is Asian America. Like, oh, again, we're not watching this shit, man. We really need to understand that this is what happened. Also, Wizard of Oz was 1939. And so, yeah, this is 3 years later, and they made this beautiful Technicolor film. Like, watch it. Like, here's a clip, or watch the clip from before or something. But the other fascinating thing, they use live animals. Like, you get to see jaguars and tigers and elephants. All things that weren't real were the snakes. Totally understandable. But like, whoa, you just watch them, like, whoa, I don't think I've ever seen a tiger like this. Like, maybe seen like Tiger King or something. And I just feel like it doesn't look fake. It just doesn't look the same. It's always like a documentary or something. This is a narrative film. And they've done later stuff down the line, like 80s and 90s. Again, like that Jason Scott Lee version. I think there's some live animals. Like, this is the 40s. This is early. And it's so fascinating to see what it was done, because it's so beautiful. And you just see his claws, you see his teeth. You're like, ooh, that was a big ass teeth. You're like, ooh, it's not scary. But you're like, ooh, there. And Sabu in himself, like Mowgli, right? Again, that's in the whole thing. This is not an episode about breaking it down to be the bad thing. Like, there is a justification to have, like, who is Mowgli and why are we doing Mowgli, this, animalistic boy who's a person of color. Like, there is a lot of that for sure. But I like to do like the celebration of what Sabu got to do. Like, that's fascinating, because he's the first. This is early Hollywood. He's still an Asian American who got to play the leading role. He is a strong Asian lead if I saw him ever. Now let's just celebrate that for a minute, because I think that's what's important here. And so he got to play and kill Shere Khan. Whoa, I want to kill Shere Khan. He got to fight a tiger and win. He got to say, come here, Shere Khan, catch me. And I was like, whoa, what the balls on this boy. He said, come catch me. And wow, he was just climbing trees and chicking out and getting his knife, what he called the tooth. Like, look at my tooth, because he didn't have like teeth, right? He didn't have the teeth of the tiger. So he got a knife. And he's like, look at my tooth. I got my tooth now. I can kill you. And it's so fascinating. You like watching, like, whoa, this is so cool to just watch and so beautiful. And I just want to celebrate that, because Sabu was just so young at this time. How old was he? I'm going to find out how old he was. He was born in 1924 in British India, in the King Kapoor Mysore, Kingdom of Mysore in British India. And then he came, I don't know when he came to the United States. Did it say? Did not say when he came to the United States, but he did gain citizenship later on in his life. So just fascinating. And he's so much in this other film. We're in the picture right now, and it's just like, wow, what a man. And I just want to see and say, like, wow, he got to play those leading roles in a lot of films. And I really hope people like back then recognize who he was, but we don't know who he is these days. And that's why we do this podcast. That's why we do Strong Asian Lead, because we don't really celebrate them. We can celebrate Joyride. We can celebrate Crazy Rich Asians. We can celebrate Shortcomings. We can celebrate all the great films that are coming out now. Everything Everywhere All at Once, and all the many short films that are just out there, just like doing something good and great. But these people don't get to be talked about, because they're not in today. They didn't have social media. They didn't have a PR team. They didn't have any of that. And so that's why we're celebrating them through Strong Asian. Because when we see this and you watch this, you're like, wow, what cool. If they can do it, so can we. And that's the whole point. Again, going back to the more Jungle Book, celebrating here, like it's just it's something to watch, and you can watch it on our website. Again, I find these. I don't know why or how I find these films, but I find them. They're on YouTube. They're on Roku, Tubi. They're out there in the world. We put them on our website so you can watch them. I could just leave them. I could just put it in a Google Sheet and just keep it for myself or pass it around. But this is for you. This is for the people, because I think this cinema education should be for the people, and I'm trying to help you get there. Just watch the film. You listen to this podcast episode and then go watch the film, right? Go watch Jungle Book. Go watch Three Ninjas. Go watch Year of the Dragon. Actually, Year of the Dragon is not online. I'm not going to post it online because that's technically copyright infringement. I'm not copyright infringing these things. I'm not posting them. I'm only just telling you where they're at and somebody else. Sometimes they get taken down, which is really sad. We'll get into like The Flip Side by Rod Polito. I watched that on YouTube. It's not there anymore. He left it online, but it's unfortunately not there. But go watch that. This is your cinema education. You want to go to film school? Can't afford it? Here it is. And I love no film school, but like here's some other history. Here's some other facts of Hollywood history, and just go watch these movies. I've curated all of this for you. Like there's tons of stuff on there. I've been doing this for over like 2 or 3 years, just collecting the films for you to watch. And there's so much to look forward and learn from. So go do that. I'm telling you, I'm your teacher today. Go do that. Go do your homework. There's more to learn. That's why I do these things, because if I didn't help celebrate these films, I don't know if they would be done. I know other people aren't doing it. So come on, let's have a good time. Let's watch the movies. We're actually going to do a screening of this in a couple weeks that I'm excited for. So we get at our new Emerson College. If I haven't announced it already, I'm sure I already announced it online by the time this episode comes out. But we are now partnered with Emerson College, which is fantastic. They've given us all their spaces to use when we need them, to schedule in advance. And they gave me a little small office, a little cute little cubicle just to work from. Fantastic. It's not even the cubicle. I have a door. That's an upgrade from the cubicle. I don't have a window. And it's like half the size of my bedroom. I'd almost, generally I'd rather just work at home, but it's 1 block away from Netflix. So I get to go pick it over there and then go there to do some work or chill out or have coffee or something and take some meetings. We're going to be, I don't know when this episode, we're shipping out in August. So we'll be doing our Asian Picket Day. So haven't already announced it. The Picket Party we'll be having at Netflix. So we're picketing from 9 to 2. And then we'll go down down to Emerson and have a panel. And we'll have some food. We'll have some drinks. We'll just have a good time to talk about the strikes and just like use the space. And that's what the benefit is. That's the benefit that we get to give you. They aren't charging you for that. We'd love your donations. Please donate. It helps us. But that's what we get to do for everybody. And because we get to do that, that's going to help us just provide for more people. And we get to have this beautiful 45-seat screening room. And we get to show movies for it. And it will be members only. And sometimes it'll be invite only. And I hope I get to invite you sometimes. But right now, it's going to definitely be only members only because we can't fit everybody. And only if you're a member will you get to be notified that it exists, that we're doing the screening and you get to join us. Sadly, you got to be in LA to be in the person. So I apologize for those people. But we will be doing watch parties. I think we're going to be doing a watch party online, maybe once a week, once a month or something. Like we'll be doing something. We'll watch these films. We'll watch Jungle Book. We'll watch Year of the Dragon. We'll find ways to make things happen because I think you should also be doing these things. But it's just going to be on your computers, which is fine. People can do that. And I hope that you will. I hope that you'll join us because why not? Yeah, it's sad they won't be able to network or anything, but you get to watch the films and you get to discuss. We'll talk about it on Discord or something, and we'll enjoy the films that they are. And so, again, September 6th, we'll be doing the picket party. And yeah, join us out there on the picket lines at Netflix and then come up to Emerson. And then we'll be doing more screens. We'll be doing in-person screens for the 45-seat room, and we have the 200-seat multi-purpose room. Maybe we'll do the outside on the balcony on the terrace if they let us do like have a screening or a projector and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time. I really hope that Strong Asian Lead's helping you and doing things. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of work on me, y'all. It really is. Again, everything you see from Strong Asian Lead comes from me. We do not have any support. No support. people think we have like, oh, you're a full team, everything. Like, no, it's just me. They're like, whoa, really? I'm like, yeah. And I still have a screenwriting career and photography for freelance. Like, we need to get grants so I can not only pay myself, but pay, like, hire people. I need a CPA. I need staff. I need someone to do our newsletters. I need people. But no one wants to volunteer, so we're gonna just keep doing it, because if I just waited for people to pay it forward and volunteer, like, I don't know what's wrong with LA, but LA is not community like New York. It really just isn't. Like, it just isn't. And that's why I left LA. I'm sorry, but I'm here. I'm here because of Hollywood, not because of LA. It's just how it is. And so, I don't know. I think the best thing anybody can do is just like show up. Like, we would love some celebrities to come out, some people who just done some work, and people, I'm like, great, can you just come out? Not just screening. We just get nobody coming out, which is really, really sad. It's like, you say you recognize us, you're doing good work, but you still come out. It's a bummer. But we're going to do it anyways, because I think it's important. When I think something's important, we just do it anyways. And just as you should do it too. If you think it's important, do it. Help it, support it, donate, do anything. Give anything that you can to other people. Because when you do that, not only you're working your way up to whatever higher being you believe in, but you're also just doing it because it feels good. And it is volunteer. Someone said, like, why would I volunteer? I think the only thing I'm going to get volunteer out is the satisfaction of volunteering. Like, yeah, as you should. It should just be the satisfaction of volunteering. We will do our best to support you and give you something in return. But why are you just asking for something in return? It should be the satisfaction of volunteering. Are you going to say that the same thing to the soup kitchens? Like, why would I go do that except for the satisfaction of volunteering? Like, because you're helping other people. That's the whole fucking point. Like, wow, that's why I won't have you volunteer, dude. It's like, whatever, man. Man, this is what a town. What a town. I feel like I'm such an outsider here because I'm trying to help the people, and it's like, well, that's weird. That's weird that I'm trying to help people. That's funny. Weird. Okay. So, anyways, I'm gonna cut this out. I hope that it wasn't too, boring or anything, or I try not to be negative anymore. I really try not to be. But yeah, kind of the facts. I'm gonna tell you about life. I'm gonna tell you about how I feel. I'm tell you about Hollywood. Tell you how that Hollywood works and doesn't work. But it's 10 o'clock right now. I'm going to finish the rest of this coffee and head out to the picket lines because we're all going to the WB. And yeah, again, this episode will probably come out in August. We'll still be at the picket lines. I'm sure this strike is going to be coming on for the next few months. So I do not expect this episode to come out when we're finished. And if it is, then great. Then we're back in business. But until then, we're going to keep going to the picket lines. Go to the picket lines. Find us. Come to the picket party. We're going to have a great time, and I hope you're going to come out. Anyways, my name is Mas Moria. You can find us on all the socials at Strong Asian Lead everywhere. Instagram, on the underscore at the end. And help us donate. You want to be on Patreon? Like, help us out. Like, we don't have bonus episodes yet. Again, I don't have the time to do everything. But, a couple bucks helps us out, man. If you're listening to this, fantastic. This is going to help your career, fantastic. Like, great. If you don't donate, then fine. Just keep listening. Tell somebody. I hate doing this too. Like, hit subscribe, hit the follow. If you're on Spotify, hit the follow. If you're on Apple, hit subscribe, rate us. Spotify now has ratings, and we have questions. I usually put a question at the bottom on Spotify. If you don't know that, great. Here's the question at the bottom. I think today is going to be something along the lines of, when did you pay it forward, or who would you pay it forward to? Something like that. And then on, Apple Podcasts, rate us. Help us get to the top. I actually don't even care about going to the top. Just tell us that you're liking the episode. Give us some stars. Love a 5-star. I'm not going to tell you to get 5 stars. Someone told me, like, give me 5 stars. I'm like, maybe I don't like you. So, that's the whole thing. But I hope you rate it. Give us a comment. Put a comment in there. Tell us what we're doing fine, or just put a poop emoji in there. I want people to know that part. It's a good time. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I appreciate just listening. And if it's helping you, just let us know. Yeah, in any way you can. Again, my name is Mas Moria, and you've been listening to the Strong Asian Lead podcast. And yeah, have a great week. And, again, pay it forward.